Thank you very much, Speaker, and I'm pleased to rise in support of Bill 16, brought forward by my colleague from Oak Ridge's Markham, as I supported the predecessor bill, Bill 60, which was introduced originally by the member for Richmond Hill. As my colleague mentioned in her opening statement, York Region consists of 20 elected representatives and one unelected person, and that's the regional chair. And that's something with which I think most people in a democratic society basically disagree, that somebody should have the level of power that we're talking about in York Region without having been elected and being accountable directly to the people. We're not talking about personalities here, I would hasten to add, so this is not a commentary with regard to the person who holds that seat at the present moment. It has to do with fairness, no matter where the representation takes place. This is a very large geographic area, well described by my colleague. I rise in debate because I represent some fairly sizable pieces of two of the largest cities that form York Region, and those are Markham and Vaughan. The responsibilities of the regional council, and that works directly through the chair, include public health and residential and commercial development, regional transit, which I'll have a further word to say about, roads, waste management, policing, emergency services, and social services. So if you take those as a collectivity, that is a goodly number of the things that residents derive service on in their everyday lives. They see and feel the effects of what that council does on a daily basis, and very particularly what that person does. And so one of the most powerful positions in the region is regional chair. The salary recorded for that position in 2011, the latest figure I have, is about $208,000. I imagine it has risen since then. But I wanted to take my time to illustrate an example of what happens when you have an unaccountable chair and citizens who are really in dire need of change. Representing the riding of Thornhill, I have a particular situation in front of me that technically should be the province of the chair, the council at the regional level, the council at the city level, in this case Vaughan, and I'm talking about the plan to build a diversion from the Highway 7 transitway, which is a dedicated center lane, 25-kilometer idea that's under construction now, by bringing it down Bathurst Street into the very center of Thornhill, being Centre Street. There is no wiggle room here, as I've been told. I've taken this directly to the Minister of Transportation, who is sympathetic, who took the time to actually visit the site and take a look at it, and who I can't speak for, but I felt was sympathetic enough so that if he could change things, he would. But the problem with this is it rests with the regional chair up in Newmarket. And we're talking about $100 million here. We're talking about the splitting of a community here. We're talking about people here who are citizens and have a right to be heard. And yet their local councillor, who has direct responsibility, says, I know better than you, I'm not going to take this to the city, and therefore it doesn't really work its way through that councillor, the regional councillor, the mayor, and up to the chair. So I hope through this appeal I have been able to raise some eyebrows at the regional level, notably with the chair of the region, and I hope I've been able to illustrate my point as to why we need an elected and responsible and accountable person in that position. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you. Further debate?